Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I trust everybody had a safe and healthy and wonderful holiday season. We are back in the office again and looking at the year that has just passed, 2022, and seeing what we can learn from that. And I want to share a few statistics that I've been looking at today that I think are really interesting to look at, study, and help potentially forecast what's coming in the next few months. One of the things I'll share with you is our overall sales. Now, keep in mind that this number is just sales in the Metro Atlanta area that were actually on the MLS. And so we all know there are plenty of sales that happen outside of the MLS, don't make it to the MLS. And so this number we have to look at with a little grain of salt because it's not super indicative of all of the sales, but it does give us a really interesting view of what happened last year. So one of the leading indicators that we're looking at are the closed sales throughout the year. And as you can see from this graph, one of the things that I think is really interesting is that this graph really identifies our seasonality coming back. So if you look at January of 2022, we were pretty low, again, as to be expected, with closed number of sales. And then we peak in the spring. And again, once we hit September, October, we start to fall down or fall back in number of sales. Now, that's probably a couple of things contributing to that in 2022 versus 2021. One is the interest rates. The interest rates really went up after the summer. And so we're seeing that in the number of sales that closed. And also, and I know you've heard me mention this before, we are starting to get our seasonality back prior to our seasonality that existed prior to the pandemic. So it'll be really interesting to see how the sales fluctuate this year and whether or not we have that seasonality again in the spring and summer. So we'll keep an eye out on that. The other thing that we're looking at, obviously, and you've heard me talk about this a couple of times throughout the year, is we are looking at days on market and our supply. With days on market, again, you can see the graph towards the end of the year, how the days on market really kind of skyrocketed. Now, keep in mind, this is not an astronomical number. I think the year finishes out with days on market just under 25 days. That's very normal still. So again, anything under 30, 40 days is very, very normal in a very healthy market. So we know where our days on market have been. We're kind of anticipating where they're going to go, especially as we roll into the spring market. Remember, our spring market starts in about a week. So we'll keep an eye out on that. And finally, I think this is our most telling indicator of our market is going to be our months of supply. And last year, as we went from the crazy spring market through the summer into the fall where rates ticked up a little bit, we saw the month of supply go over 2 months, and we hadn't seen that since probably early 2021. So it went up over 2 months and ended up the year right around 2.5 months of supply, or just below 2.5 months of supply. And so I think it'll be really interesting, again, to see where this is going. Remember, when we're talking about months of supply, we are still very much in a seller's market. Anything under that 5-month mark is still considered a seller's market. When we start crossing over the 4.5 month mark, that's when we start to see a true buyer's market. So these are the 3 leading indicators I've talked about throughout the year. I'm continuing to watch these indicators to see how we are going to be approaching the spring market that starts in just a few weeks. So I'll continue to report on these and see how the numbers are affecting us. So while I wish I had a crystal ball and I could tell you what's going to happen in the next few weeks, we are just going to have to keep an eye on the market together. I did have a conversation with a couple of colleagues last week, and one of the things I have noticed is that honestly, it's too soon to tell what the activity is going to look like. However, I can tell you just from the clients that we're working with, we have so many people already starting to meet with us about creating strategies for their purchases this year and also for their sales this year. So if it's any indication, I think we're going to have a very healthy and strong spring market. I will keep you posted on everything that's going on in our market. As always, if you have any questions, curiosities, or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to help. We're here to be your resource for all things Atlanta real estate. Have a great day, and I'll see you next month.